Adrian Esposito is on this panel, so is Roger Clayman from the Long Island Federation of Labor, and I know Bob Fonte. We come up with the Chambers, and Gina Coletti, and Francesca Carlo. We try to put a collaboration, this Long Island Lobby Coalition together, and we've had the good fortune of working with Todd Kaminsky, and Todd has been really a force in working with the governor's office when he was in the minority side to move projects, and always gave us a really welcome connection to his office, his values and thinking, which is really in sync with a lot of the things that our lobby coalition cares about. And now he's certainly in a position of leadership to execute an agenda that I think could be very positive for Long Island. So we're excited to hear his voice. You're the featured speaker here today, Mr. Senator Todd Kaminsky.
It's a real honor to be here, and not only am I joined by Monica Martinez in the new Senate majority, but we also have two new great members I'm excited to work with and who are just all-stars who are going to do great in Albany. And I first want to give a shout out to Jim Gorin, who's here. And Kevin Thomas. If you don't know who Kevin is, neither did Kemp Hannon, but you should definitely get to meet him. You would think something like giving shout-outs or recognition to elected officials wouldn't be a partisan activity. But over the years, it has been, and in the minority, I was always on the receiving poor end of that, which would mean someone in the majority would stand up and not mention me. A lot of these things happened in Albany. When the Long Island Lobby Coalition would go up to Albany, they would have a meeting with the majority, and then like a separate meeting with just me or just me and John Brooks. When we had to get a tour of Interlocking A at Penn Station when the railroad had troubles, the majority got a tour, and then the MTA had to give a separate tour for two of us. And I just think that's unfortunate. And so I said when I was asked to speak that I'm going to make a point of changing that and give a huge shout out to a really good public official, Phil Boyle. And then Phil called me today and said, he's not coming, he's having minor surgery. I hope that surgery involves someone implanting a blue chip into his brain. But please let it be known, and that it does mean a lot, that Phil's been a great public servant for a long time, and he deserves our recognition, and we will work together and do well together. Now, I bring up these funny stories about, treatment in the minority, not because I'm bitter or going to constantly look in the rearview mirror, but these elections really serve as a reminder that none of us own Albany. None of us own the seats to which we've been elected. We are mere temporary stewards that the public sends us to do their work and gives us their trust. And this year, they overwhelmingly made a decision that they wanted to try something different. And I don't interpret that to mean different ideologically. I interpret that to mean they want to see results. Now, I get why they made a lot of those decisions. You're going to hear from Steve Ballone a little bit, probably about sewers, but having worked in Albany for a little bit, I know more about sewers than Steve Ballone. And I could tell you why people wanted to make those changes. And so it's up to us to get rid of the partisanship and get rid of all that stands between us and Albany helping you do the great work that you do. When people talk about politics, they often want to go to the sexy stuff, immigration, the Mueller investigation. If there were ever a room where non-sexy people are discussing non-sexy stuff, like we're in it right now. Wastewater, not sexy. Zoning, really not sexy. But this is what it takes to move our island forward and to make sure that the decline that we had experienced is going to be turned around. You have made some tremendous gains, some beautiful downtowns, outstanding infrastructure has been upgraded, but we're at a fragile point. And if we continue to help you in your efforts with sustainability, with getting projects over the finish line, with making sure that we've got great downtowns and preserving our beautiful natural resources. That's a project that's not Democrat or Republican. It's simply Long Island. And having grown up in Long Beach, a place where we understand what it means to preserve our our beautiful, pristine natural resources and our aquifers and our beaches and our marshes. That's something that is rooted deep inside of me, and that's not partisan either. So we understand the expectations that come from being the Senate majority. I have a simple expectation when working with you. You tell us what you need, and let us try to run through a wall and get it done. We need our young people to stay here. We need to make it affordable for our seniors to stay here. And we want this to be a world-class place where people want to work and people want to live, that has the vitality that the promise of Long Island always carries. That's the work that you're engaged in and day out. And it's our job to ask what we can do to help get that done. I understand the expectations. I'm excited for the opportunities. Let's start getting to work together. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give a hand to Senator Todd Kaminsky and, of course, the delegation that spent their time here today listening, connecting to folks. And what was really a magic word is working in a bipartisan fashion. And I think breaking that mold, taking the high road is really exciting. So let's give a shout out one more time for Senator Todd Kaminsky. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you up in Albany.